But more importantly, you've got engage. You've got Nidalee spears. You've got Braum passives and Braum's kit basically entirely. TJJ119. I'll go ahead and that is my Twitter. And then you have the Lulu peel. We're seeing Annie coming down here. I kind of prophesized it a little bit. We might just see it hovered, though. These players do know that the game is being streamed, so they could be trolling me. But we're going to see Annie locked in. So Annie's kind of a counter synergy, but I think she's really necessary for this because they don't really have a way in. And right now you've got like Flash Cocoon or Flash Annie alt or Flash Poppy Stun or Flash Janna alt. So all of your engage really relies on Flash, which isn't going to be up all the time. Whereas you've got engage from Nidalee spears and then Nidalee pouncing in. You've got Lulu waiting on somebody to go in. You've got Gnar that can jump in, get Lulu altered, and knock everyone into a wall. That's kind of a double stun trigger. You've got the Ashe arrow for catching someone. You've got Lulu's polymorph. There's a bunch of engage that purple team's going to have to play around on blue team. You can stop down, or you can shut down some of it with Poppy's W on her own. I know you can stop Nidalee from pouncing. I think you can also stop Braum from his W, and you can stop Gnar from his jump, I believe. I'm not sure on the Gnar, but the Braum and Nidalee, I'm like 90%, pretty certain that that's going to happen. So we're seeing a 3-minute spectator delay. We're going to jump to my face a little bit. I'm trying to make the stream better as slowly as I can. So we've got my name down here in the corner now, as well as some ArenaOnline logos up in the top. If any of you guys have ideas for what to put around the border, or if you want to make some kind of a streaming skin, I would definitely appreciate some community-made stuff. I think that'd be great. And as soon as I get the okay from an admin... Sorry, I've got to respond. So as soon as I get the okay from an admin, I'm going to try to also throw up some sort of a Discord page or something. If you guys want to donate, I'm not going to ask for anything, or not Discord, a Patreon if you guys want to donate, but I'm not going to ask for it. It's going to be completely up to you guys. But absolutely, if you want to contribute to the stream right now, keep viewing every week. Tune in to every day, preferably. I'm going to have some recreational streams during the week. I might try to work out some kind of a blog talk or something with the admins as kind of like a primetime league kind of update, but for ArenaOnline. So get some interest going on through the week and into the weekend. I think that'll be pretty nice. Then I'll also have quite a few other things scheduled. I'm trying to... They are Gunners. They are Gunner optics glasses. I'm not sponsored by Gunners, but hey, if you have connections, I do wear Gunners for all of my streams. I just really like them. But I've got a couple of other things planned that are hopefully gonna keep some interest in the closed beta in terms of the stream and gaining organic viewership, including trying to reach out to a couple of pretty well-known members in the Twitch community. I'm not gonna go who, but I have plans, and I'm gonna see if I can use the power of ArenaOnline and the internet to hear back from them. So, looking at these team comps, I think blue team is going to be heavily in favor to win team fights. They both took double teleport, so the split push game is going to be shut down a little bit. But if Annie gets to the point where she can duel Lulu, or Poppy gets to the point where she can duel Gnar, which I think could happen with a tank that does damage, then I think the split push could go in purple team's favor. Honestly, the split push probably how purple team wins this, but they have a pretty solid pick comp. They have the Cocoon, they have the Poppy, they have Janna and Annie. So they've got engage tools. They just don't have as much engage. And then also what they have isn't really used for peel as much as blue team. So peel has kind of a more utility-focused comp where they can use it as hard engage or peel or poke or siege. Basically, whatever they need the comp to do, they can work it out. Whereas purple team is more, I'm going to curtain call you, try to slow you, get an Elise Cocoon, and then Annie's going to flash in with some kind of a stun, be it from Incinerate or Tibbers or something like that. And then Poppy is going to basically solo out your back line. So my prophecy for this game, we're going to see some very intense team fights. Got to turn a light on real quick. So we're going to see probably some pretty intense team fights filled with lots of picks, lots of pounces, lots of burst, and a little bit of peel in the process. And it's just going to come down to the winner of this game is probably going to have a better mix of saving their AD carry while also killing the opponent's AD carry. As you have Annie, who's a pretty big burst mage, but not too much sustained damage, and Lulu, who's more of a utility and sustained damage mid laner. So we're not really seeing a bunch of burst coming in from the mid lanes, or we're not really seeing a bunch of sustained damage coming in from the mid lanes. It's mostly just burst and then utility. So the AD carries are really going to have to be the focus here. Jhin can put down a lot of damage, including a bunch of AoE damage, as we can go ahead and get over to these keystones. So we got Strength of Ages, a Bond of Stone, Nidalee with a Thunderlords, Lulu with a Thunderlords, Ashe with Fervor. No, not Fervor. I forget the name of that mastery. If anyone can help me out there. And then we saw Critical Strike on Echo, I believe, which is what we should be seeing. Although it no longer works off of crit. It works off of percent missing health. So I think it's nerfed a little bit on Jhin overall. But for, mids, or not mids, tops and tanks, basically, it gets a lot stronger. For any of you interested, I would definitely take Warlords. Is it Warlords? Whichever one the left offensive mastery is on the far left side of the tree. On Darius, building Spirit Visage, and then basically never dying, and then laughing in their face, walking around, spamming whatever you need to. I think that'll be a lot of fun. I definitely recommend somebody try it out if they're a Darius fan. Warlords just kind of takes it. Yeah, Warlords Bloodlust just kind of takes it to the next level for sustainability. Ooh, I don't have a color commentator with me today, so nobody really feeding me the mastery keystone names. I'm a little rusty on it. I actually stopped playing for a little while right when the keystones came out, and then started back basically in the official Season 6 start. So the keystones had already been around since preseason. I didn't really focus in on them too much. I actually missed almost all of League of Legends during the Thunderlords meta. So, you get what you get. And if you have to go back to one of your tournaments, you can always turn on audio only in Twitch. It'll still count as a viewer. You'll still be able to hear me. It'll use up less of your internet connection, and it should work out. But if you have to go, I understand, because I know you'll be back. They always come back. Seeing Farm coming down. Gnar getting his first melee minion, but Poppy misses hers, but then Gnar misses the next two, so it's kind of equalizing out there. The Braum passive going down on the Janna. It's only halfway stacked, though, which means they need an auto attack from Braum and Ashe, or two more from Ashe, or two more from Braum, in order to stun her up, and she's going to be able to get under the tower before that can happen. So, no big deal there. Just kind of walk out of it safely. Once the Braum Q hits, you have to be a little bit afraid. He's going to take a crit. Guaranteed from Jhin. As Jhin has to reload shortly after that, so he backs out. Annie with the stun onto Lulu. Going to find the Incinerate as well, but Lulu's turning it around with the Glitter Lance and her E. I forget the E. Then we're seeing Gnar getting taken very low by Poppy, but he hits Mega Gnar at just the right time. He's going to be able to find the Q onto Poppy as well, but she's going to get out. Lulu with the flash here. The Glitter Lance has to land, and it's going to be the kill. First blood going down to Lulu. Nice play. Poppy, in the meanwhile, getting the flash. No. Yes, the flash stun onto Gnar. So some heads-up play there. Gnar has to burn his flash in response. They both have teleport still, so they're going to be okay. Basically, in the top lane, until the first teleport goes down, killing your lane opponent really doesn't get you anything other than very, very momentary lane pressure. It doesn't really deny experience from them that much because their death timers are super low, and they can just teleport in. So all in all, they're gone for like 11 seconds on the Rift versus anyone else would be gone for close to 30 seconds because they have to walk back, which takes around 20 seconds to get back to lane, depending on the boots. There's a lot of undefinitive variables there that nobody really knows the exact timings for every champion. I'm not going to study that. I'm not a pro player. I'm just an amateur caster for now, so I don't really need to know all of the back timings. And walking down the lanes. But if I learn it over time, passively, through whatever means, we're seeing a Poppy stun, finding a wall onto Gnar. Gnar going very low thanks to that Q she throws, or that passive. No, it was a Q. Never mind. The passive and the Q look pretty similar, but she actually walked over the hammer herself, which was her passive. And then Elise coming in to finish off the kill with an execute. Gnar is down for 17 seconds, so at 4 minutes, the death time is about 17 seconds. Ashe finding no auto attacks onto Janna to pop that passive, so it's just going to time out. And Janna able to shield Jhin for a nice little damage trade there. The bouncing grenade doesn't hit with the shield on, so it's not going to be as effective as that could have been had he thrown it just a couple of seconds sooner, but it's still keeping sure that he doesn't take too much damage while also putting a decent chunk back on it. The Glare Lance is going to find Annie through the minions, which is going to do quite a bit of damage. The last crit goes down onto Ashe. He gets the Janna shield, but he walks in just a little bit too much, tanks one more tower, or one more Ashe hit. So he is going to take a little bit of damage. And it's just kind of been non-stop action. That's what most of the real online games are. I think once they find out they're casted as well, they try to make as many plays as they can. But they're really just trying to test my vocal speed, which I think I can keep up fairly well with. In fact, try me. I'll cast these 3 lane aggressions and 2 ganks and counter ganks and tower dives with the best of them, hopefully. That's what I'm here for. Just trying to bring you guys a play-by-play of all of the action happening. If somebody misses a CS, like Annie misses that melee minion, I'm going to try to call it out for you. I'm going to have to be ever vigilant, but I'll do my best because I love you guys. The Glitter Lance is going to hit onto Annie. The Hawk Shot's coming in for a little bit of vision into the jungle. Going to go check out that red, but Elise is not at her red anymore. She's at her Gromp down in bot lane. She's going to recall and then probably head up to a gank in the top lane by the looks of it. Gnar a little bit overextended. Annie taken very low in the mid lane. She's going to have to back out. Nidalee off on the wings. Can't find a spear. The Wolf Spirit's going to be able to chase her out of the jungle. And meanwhile in bot lane we have some damage going down onto minions and not much else. The Tornado's going to go wide. Jhin finding that second to last hit and then the crit onto Ashe. He's been getting the crit trades very well, but the Ignite's going to go down on him. The Braum passive now ticking twice. Braum's going to find a solo stun. The captive audience is going to go down. It's not going to be enough, and a snipe comes in from TribalArcher on Nidalee. So very well played there, guys. We're seeing kills in 2-1. Gnar's going to get Mega here in a second. He should be able to find a little bit more damage onto Poppy, but the gank in mid is going to find Elise a kill. She comes in there, gets the execute with one of the Spiderlings' help. Now Ashe just trying to farm up as much as she can, keeps that Q running. I don't think it passively uses mana anymore on hit. I think it can always stay turned on, was the change to Ashe. I might have to check that just to be sure. Does her Q? Yeah, it has no cooldown. 50 mana, the passive, stacking up to 4 times. 4 attacks can be cast, consuming all focus. Okay, so her Q's just weird is what I'm gathering from that. I don't see Ashe very much, so if I continue to see Ashe, I will definitely learn those abilities. I used to play Ashe a little bit, but I found her to be a little undamaging, like not too much of a hyper carry. Even though her ultimate was a lot of fun to use, I had so much fun sniping. I actually found Corki, who then became my main back before the changes when he used to do true damage on top of attack damage, and he was so good. And Gnar's gonna be able to jump out, and he also pretty much always had his magic damage kit. You'd always pretty much go armor pen or spell pen boots on them once the pros found out that was kind of an optimal route. Whoever found that out kind of changed the course of the game for Corki. The Gnar is going to be stopped from jumping out on that Q, or that dash in particular. Finds a wall, gets a kill. Elise was up there for the assist, but I think she actually just goes ahead and steals the kill with the execute. It's hard to not get a kill when you're playing Elise with an execute. Nidalee finding her red buff, though. She's going to be able to take that down, get 60 gold. I think the little minions are around 14 or less than 20, but higher than 10. So some kind of a weird 18. 18 sounds like that's probably what it is. For clearing out that camp. Quite a bit of gold. And now she's going to have red buff. She's got 1 kill. Elise has 3 kills, however. Janna's shield's going to go down. Ashe is going to find an arrow, but the ult, or the Q from Braum is going to miss. So despite the arrow, there's not really that much of a follow-up. Jhin doesn't have a level 6 yet, though, so he's going to take quite a bit of poking. Up to the top lane, Poppy throwing down that W. And back to the mid lane, we're seeing an execute gank going in at a Lulu, but she just ults herself and gets out. The Braum ult going to be going down, but there's no follow-up. He's just by himself. Kind of a wasted ult there. The curtain call is going to be going down. Braum has to tank all of these shots, basically. The crit could actually be enough now just to take him out. He hits the Q onto Jhin, which I think was the good target behind the minions. I thought he was going to miss it onto Janna, but then it actually hit onto Jhin, and I realized the beauty of his play. So down there, we saw captive Audience is his Death Lotus, and then Deadly Flourish finding his mark onto Ashe, and then Braum had to basically just tank it up for all of the shots, and he almost went down. He went pretty low, but Jhin just didn't quite have the range to follow up, and then he got hit with the stun, and he had to, or the slow, and he had to disengage. So Ashe has to be very careful now. She's at 300 health against Janna and Jhin. Janna has her ultimate up, but Jhin doesn't. That's a very tough lame to say. Wow, I can't talk suddenly. We're seeing some action going down on the top lane, though, so who needs to talk about the bot lane when we have Poppy basically 1v2ing right now against this gank? Gnar's going to have Mega in a second. He finds the cooler, the house, finds his ultimate, but he misses onto the damage, and a nice dodge there, just working around the hitbox of that Nidalee spear. So not able to finalize that kill. They couldn't get the Q. If they would have gotten the Q, they probably would have been able to just pounce in there and find Gnar pretty easily. But Evil Gambit with very good play so far. She's up 20 CS and 2 assists. Elise has stolen all of her kills, but she's still up 700 gold. The jungle's up 300. The mid's down 400. The bot lane is down overall about 300. And we're seeing the first dragon going over to red team. The tornado almost secures it even. At least able to find that kill. She walked away from it, smited it about 50 health too high. If they had been in the bot lane, they probably could have gotten a steal over the wall with a Braum Q if they had the wards down. The steadfast presence, again, going to be stopping Gnar from jumping out of that situation. He's just going to have to try to keep it off cooldown when that happens, but she can also just kind of cast it reactively and stop him in his tracks, as we're seeing here. So apparently, from what I've seen, since he hasn't been able to hop out of that, his W must count as a dash. I mean his E. Ooh, we're going to see him have to jump out of that one. Steadfast Presence goes down, but it might have been just a little bit too late. Mega Gnar might trigger a little bit differently. He's going to find the stun on a Poppy, the house as follow-up. He's going to stop for farming minions in the meantime. It's pretty low. Finds another house, but he's going to have to back out as he doesn't have the health. Just the house. And Poppy, she's not really too afraid of stonemasons, so houses don't scare her too much. It's not going to have too much of an effect on her. She's not going to go down. Didn't get Mega Gnar into a wall by any means. It was up, but she wasn't in range. Sorry about the yawning. So a little bit of a pause in the action, a little bit of a pause in the cast. I'm trying to fill time as much as I can. We're seeing a gank coming down here. Annie finding Tibbers. The flash cocoon also landing. I don't think you really needed the flash cocoon there, but Lulu had flash and she had ult, so if you don't chain that CC on basically getting the stun from the cocoon after right after the stun from the Tibbers, she's going to be able to ult herself or flash away. So just a little bit of extra security. Elise doesn't have her flash cocoon now, but she does have Cocoon, which in itself is pretty strong. Ashe ult's going to go down. There's a Deadly Flourish, or there's a captive audience on the ground that Braum's going to be able to find. Deadly Flourish wasn't really able to get anything. And I think those ability names are reversed, honestly. Captive audience, it seems like that should snare somebody and keep them captivated or locked in place. And it seems like Deadly Flourish, flourish, flowers, it seems more like a thing to me. Steadfast Presence is going to go down, but a little bit too late. Then Mega Gnar is going to do a lot of damage. He's going to have to dash out, though. And at least for pulling back in, she's going to get the execute. Has runic echoes, pretty easy. Puts down the human form Q, which isn't an execute, but it does quite a bit of damage. And now Poppy's tanking. She's polymorph. She's going to go down. Lulu with a nice 1v1 or 1v2 survival under tower. She just came in with the teleport to try to help out Gnar. And now we're getting to the point where Poppy can pretty easily 1v1 Gnar. So unless Gnar starts itemizing against it, which she's just building tank, I don't know that that's the best itemization against this Poppy. But if you build damage, you're not going to be able to out-damage her. If you build tank, your tank items are probably a little bit too late to come down. So they really need more gold onto Gnar. It might be beneficial for him to go try to find some roam kills and get a little bit of gold back in his favor. Because if he can't 1v1 Poppy, then they're just going to be able to split push blue team to death, which is really one of their big win conditions. Just like a split push with a pick comp. So basically you split push as a 1-3-1 or a 1-1-0-4, and then get a team fight that you find a pick on, and then kind of equalize or take the numbers advantage. But Nidalee going to be able to find a spear onto Jhin, jumping in for a pounce. Braum's going to be tower diving this, but his shield wears off. He doesn't have the extra damage. And a nice Janna shield coming in, stopping them from taking the tower before the teleport before the teleport could get canceled. So very heads-up play by Janna. She knew she had to keep that tower alive because Annie didn't have any minions to go to. And now we're seeing Gnar getting soloed by Poppy again. He doesn't find the wall. He finds Mega Gnar. The Cocoon's going to miss. The ult's going down, however. The Execute's going to come in. Elise going to be able to pick up a 4th kill on the top lane. Poppy dying once, finding 4 assists, which just isn't really giving her too much of a gold lead. So really only need a couple more kills on Gnar, and then he can come back into this relatively. If he can just get the itemization to deal with Poppy and just basically hold her split push, then you're kind of neutering Red Team's team comp. But the thing about it is, Gnar has to wait until Mega is up and then find an ult to knock Poppy out of the teleport, which is kind of a limited window. Poppy just has to have her knockaway or her knockback up. And this tower should be going down if you just burst it, but they're not going to. She doesn't know if that's 1 teleport coming in or 2. It could have been Lulu as well, so she's just going to back away, take the tower after Gnar comes in. It's not too scary, but now Nidalee's coming around, which is a little bit scarier. She doesn't have a minion wave there. The spear's going to miss, though. Gnar's trying to find these 3rd strikes. Hyper's going to get a little bit of a move speed back, but Poppy just turning her over, finding a wall. Mega Gnar finding a wall onto Poppy. Evil Gambit taken very low. The Spiderling's taking out Gnar. Going to be able to block the house, but Gnar, he's in Mega. He finds the house. The Ashe arrow with the snipe. Nice shot by Prodigial Dank. He should join the U.S. Navy SEALs, as they seem to be finding their marks. The Braum ult going to go down, also sniping at max range. Elise going to burn. There's nothing that she can really repel to. She chooses Ashe, but they're going to get stunned up. Janna flashing in there to try to disengage. It's not going to be enough. The Tiber's coming down. The stun is going to be a lot of damage. They're going to stop the extra burn from going to his teammates by putting up that Braum shield. And a nice disengage by Annie definitely saved them from trading Annie, but I think they're still going to lose this tier 1 in mid. And then the only other option they really have is taking out the tier 1 in top. Poppy teleporting in behind Gnar, though. Sorry. Gnar is very low, and he's going to be right next to a tower, so Poppy could probably pretty easily find this 1v1. The tower's not down yet. Knocks this. That is proof that Steadfast Presence does stop Gnar's jump. You just saw it here, confirmed on ArenaOnline stream, hosted by ChaoticObsidian. Don't forget that. If you're going to tweet, if you're going to share the broadcast, any extra viewership that we can get is fantastic. But I'll be working on promoting it myself as much as I can. So we saw Poppy with a nice teleport play there, saves the tier 1. The rest of the team is going to be able to rotate up there, probably after Dragon, though, and secure it. They're looking at Dragon 1. They're not going to be able to take it just yet, though, as they don't have the numbers advantage in bot. And despite the teleport being down from Poppy, they still don't want to fight this because I think Red Team's a little bit stronger right now with the team fight. Nidalee not doing too bad for herself. She's 3-1, but she has Rod of Ages, which doesn't have any stacks yet, at least according to this. Yeah, no stacks yet. And Runic Echo's Tracker Knife with no extra boots, whereas Elise has more of a finalized build on 5 kills. The Ashe ult is going to hit. They should be able to get the polymorph onto Annie. She's going to be able to flash over the wall. The burn might be enough, though. Ashe flashes over for one last auto attack. Prodigial Dank playing very well right now. I've got to give him some props. A little bit of a shout out for 0-3. Haven't been paying attention too much to the bot lane as there's been action happening in mid lane and top lane, which is almost the inverse of what you normally see. But he's been able to pick up quite a few kills, including that flash play onto Annie, who's now 1-3-1. It's really on the back of Elise and the Cocoons. Nidalee going to be able to... Excuse me, I don't know why I'm so tired right now. The execute's coming in. It's not because of this game, I swear, but it's hurting the quality of the cast, and I apologize for that. The Braum ult's going to miss. Elise able to walk away. She gets 10 extra movement speed in Spider form, so that just kind of helps her save there. It only missed by probably 5 or 10 range. It was pretty much point on. It doesn't look like Deadly Flourish is going to find a member. The Poppy ultimate barely dodged out. Now they find a wall. Nidalee's going to go down. She can't Cougar form out of that. Stunz having to use the ult on herself. Braum hitting a Q onto Jhin. The Deadly Flourish not going to be finding a target there either. So the red team now looking towards dragon. Elise is still full health. They don't have smite up on blue team. This is going to be a free dragon for red team. And after this, they might just look mid. That's kind of the favorite lane to go push. It looks like they are going to go mid. They could have gone bot, but I think they really want to just get the mid pressure right now. We're seeing actually 2 of them go bot. The bot laners, Poppy and Janna. Now the bot lane, basically. As Gnar's taking the blue team's 3rd tower. Red team down 2 towers, and therefore 2k gold. But overall, I think red team is playing these team fights a little bit better. Poppy's been finding a lot of pretty solid kills. So overall, not too bad. Glitterlance going to miss its mark, I believe. Annie now on 6 stacks, Rod of Ages. Nidalee on 3 stacks. Jungle Nidalee with Rod of Ages, I don't really see that very often. But she has the Runic Echoes already because, you know, Jungle Nidalee, it's what you do. It looks like she's going to go Magic Boot, Resist Boots, or an Abyssal Scepter next. I think either one of those would be pretty good. You've got a little bit of Magic Resist coming in onto Poppy. Just bought another Negatron Cloak. No, Null Magic Mantle. There we go. Which could become a Negatron Cloak. It looks like she's building towards some sort of a Zizirot. Right now she's got a Giant's Belt and a Chain Vest. So we'll have to see what those go into. There's probably a really obvious item here that I'm just not thinking of. But we're going to see some action going down. Poppy finding the 1v2 again. She knocks out both of these. The rest of her team's coming in. It's now a 4v1. Another team's rotating in. It looks like there's going to be a full team fight breaking out. The Jhin is rotating in from behind. He's going to be a little bit too low. Gnar is not up. Janna with a nice disengage. They try to isolate Lulu as best they can. They're not going to be able to find it. The stun wasn't up for Gnar. The Poppy dash is. Gnar's going to get his hyper. He's also up to Gnar on his next ability, so he could find some action here, but he's all by himself as Gnar triggers. So they're just going to disengage, and nobody actually falling in that team fight, which just kind of goes to show the team comps that they have. Janna is a very strong disengage champion. And then blue team not really seeming to want that fight, so both teams actually disengaging, trying to find picks in the process. I'm trying to say a lot less, but it's still a work in progress, as there's not really another good word to fill that in. So shout out at me in Twitch if any of you know ways to stop saying if I could fill it with anything else, or just train myself to use silence instead. I think that might be better. So just give me some pointers. Also, what would you guys like to see for the next game cast? If you have tournament codes and your games are going to be firing off in the next, 10, 15 minutes, go ahead and let me know your tournament code. I'll spectate it, put it on the stream. Everyone's going to be pretty happy. Right now, we're just seeing blue team push down the mid lane where Gnar split pushes. They still have the teleport from Lulu, so they've got the answer for Poppy in the bot lane. That's why they're not too worried right now. They're just going to split push opposite lanes, which I think is going to go more in favor of red team. They have more characters that can actually duel in a split push, so you're going to have to divert more than just one character to go take out Poppy, for instance. Whereas to take out Gnar, to stop Gnar, you really just only have to have anyone from your team. I think you'd want Jhin with your team. You'd want Janna with your team. You'd want Annie probably, but you could send Elise. Although Annie has teleport, so you could send Annie as well. So you'd want Elise, Jhin, and Janna to stay in mid lane or wherever the rest of the team is pushing, and just basically rely on those double teleports to join in the fight, as long as you guys have the ward. But we're going to see an Ashe arrow coming down, finding its way onto no one. It might hit Poppy in the end, and it's going to get dodged out. Across the map, it's just going to keep going forever and ever until Riot decides to clean up the Ashe arrow from the fields of battle once they eventually find it. I think they wait until the games are over, though. They wait till the games are over, and then they pick up all the essence or the true shot barrages and arrows that have missed. Eventually, physics has to affect them, so I'm sure it's going to drop off at some point. It's not like it's just going to keep going forever or hit somebody's house. They have quite a bit of land that they've purchased for this game, so putting these characters in the middle. Plus, you pretty much could have these characters be like a tenth of the size of real people, and then you wouldn't really have to worry about arrows hitting anyone, because it'd be like somebody throwing a pencil at you from across the room, and it just wouldn't really hurt that much. The fact that her bow can launch such a large arrow is really impressive, though. I guess it's why it's an enchanted crystal arrow, as opposed to just a crystal arrow. because it's so much larger, but still lightweight. It can fly forever. It's really a technological marvel if we think about it. But let's think about this Baron that's going to happen now. They're taking out the pink ward. Forbes the Beast needing a little bit of help for whatever reason. I guess they just wanted to show that Nidalee was there too so they could give pressure somewhere else on the map. You want to try to reveal as few members as possible anytime you see a ward that you know is there, because any extra members information that you give down is going to be able to be abused by the other team. Because if they see Nidalee, or if they see Nidalee's right there and Dragon is up, all they have to do is go immediately rush to Dragon and take it for free because they know Nidalee can't come in with a smite steal. Now, Elise taking out these wards solo, which I don't think you should be completely solo taking out wards. Unless you know that your team can be there in a couple of instances. I'm sorry, I put the speed down. I freaked out. Wow, what just happened there? Now I'm 2 seconds behind live. We're going to jump forward in just a little bit once I think the action has kind of quelled itself. So we're seeing Jhin in a bad of a position. Okay, good, good. We're jumping back to live. That was confusing. A little bit of a glitch. That was all user error right there. My finger hit the minus key. I was wondering why Braum was moving so slowly out of that. I thought there was a graphical bug. But no, I just put it to half speed. My bad. But we're fixed now. We're up to normal speed, live in the game, so to speak. 3-minute delay. We don't have the tournament realm. If we did, I don't know if I'd trust myself or the players for not ghosting for on the tournament realm. And these tournaments are for more than just fun. They're actually competing for a lobby leaderboard. The enchanted arrow is going to miss again. Everyone dodging out really nicely. The Braum Q is going to hit, but the house is dodged out by most members. I think Annie was the only one that got the hit there. And now we're just seeing Nidalee siege up and poke. Both teams right now are just trying to basically stop the siege in mid lane. But if you look at the minions around the map, red team's going to have to engage this here because their other lanes are pushing. Braum throwing down the ultimate before he gets knocked away by Janna. Janna going to be going down here. Gnar jumps in. Poppy finds a wall onto Forbes the Beast, but that's not the fight you really want. Evil Gambit going very low. They're going to be taken out. Eventually, the Lulu ult gets the knockup. Forbes the Beast going to be taken down in exchange. It looks like Jhin picking up Forbes the Beast. Now, Curtain Call is going to have to get dodged out. That's enough of a crit to take out anyone there. He finds Lulu for the double kill. A 2 for 4 in blue team's favor. I don't think that really was a fight that red team should have taken, but it was a fight they had to take. Once they fought it, you know, basically once they initiate, they don't have... They use Janna to try to disengage, but they just had too much CC on them already for it to really matter. Captive audience, finding Gnar, but Deadly Flourish is going to miss wide. He's going to be able to get that cannon into the tower, I would hope, but he used Dancing Grenade already. So Ashe is going to get passed over the red buff. I think that's pretty good. Ashe is already incredibly good at kiting, and it's just going to get better. Gnar finding a bit of a back stall, which is going to delay his timing quite a bit on that next item. He's got ZZ Rock Portal. He put it up in the top lane, and he's going to be trying to take it out, but the vision didn't give... The ward didn't give vision on it, which is weird. Kind of a weird interaction. And Gnar, despite being 1-5-5, has been throwing down some pretty good ultimates. He's evened it up to CS with Poppy, and he's doing pretty well for himself so far. Cocoon going to find its way onto Braum. If any of you guys have casting experience or you'd like to build up a little bit of caster experience, Sundays are my more relaxed day, so I'd certainly be willing to try out new casters. If any of you are interested, go ahead and direct message me Twitch or Twitter, whatever you need to. Poppy with the alt disengage. Braum's going to get knocked out of that fight, but that's not going to stop anyone. That's a red buff Ashe who's going to find a cocoon and a stun. Immediately, Annie throwing down Tibbers to finalize that kill, and now blue team's going to have to disengage, but we'll see if they even can. Elise going in, and she's just going to keep going in. Jhin's coming in from the background. He's going to have Curtain Call. He might be putting it down just for a little bit of damage. The Cocoon's going to find onto Gnar. The Curtain Call is going to get put down. Mega Gnar is going to be a bit of a problem. I don't think Jhin's going to be able to kill him with Curtain Call by himself, though. Fails the flash. Janna knocks him into the wall. If she would have done that and then he flashed, it would have been like a completely safe flash. Foolproof, as someone might say. But go ahead and direct message me. I'll get you in for a cast today, hopefully. I'm looking for color commentators right now, which means you're basically the analysts of the game. You're picking apart player builds, explaining team fights after they happen, basically after I do the casting of it. The Nidalee Spear is going to hit. They're taking Baron here, which is very risky considering Nidalee is up with full health. and full mana. Lulu finding a kill onto Janna. Now it's going to be a 4v5. Nidalee's not going to be able to get away from that, though. She was super greedy. But they did stop Baron. It's going to reset now, so they're just going to have to disengage from this fight, go back to base, and nothing really gained off of that team fight. Despite having a great initiation and great follow-up and great continual kite, they really couldn't make anything happen off of that. They decided to rush Baron instead of going for something that's more of a surefire deal like a tower. Whenever you kill the jungler like that, you definitely can go Baron, but whenever you just kill the top laner and he has teleport, I don't think that's ever a Baron you're actually going to be able to secure, because somebody is going to be able to come in and peel you off of it. Just the Nidalee poke alone was there. I think they had pretty low health for what they were trying to do. So not a great play, but it was a ballsy play, and I respect that. So good play, red team. Even though it didn't pan out in your favor, I was definitely pulling for you. Janna 052, Jhin 2-2 to let's see, Annie is 2-4, Elise is 2-7, Poppy's 3-3. Poppy's been playing very well, but she is down in CS now, and she's up against a split pushing Gnar with ZZ-Rot portal, but he's not going to be able to find a brush for it this time. He's going to be able to get out, however. Steadfast Presence not really doing anything there. I'm not even for sure that it was used. It was, but I don't know if it stopped a jump or not. Janna being taken out very quickly by Ashe. Basically a 4-shot combo there. She's doing a lot. The Captive Audience and Deadly Flourish combo going to find its target onto Ashe, but Braum's going to be there immediately for the re-engage. We're seeing a team fight going down now. Gnar, not a team fight, it's like a 1v1 skirmish under tower. As they haven't even gotten the tier 1 tower yet in bot or mid, they're down to 1 tower, whereas blue team has all of the outers down, so they're just working on the tier 2s. The really nice placement by the ZZ-Rot. The Ashe Arrow is going to find its mark, though. Braum ult's going to follow it up. Annie taken out very low. She throws down the Tibbers. Lulu's going to wild growth Ashe in the back line. Forbes to Beast going very low, but it's not going to matter as he gets out safely. Elise finding a death from a Nidalee spear, and Nidalee finding another snipe, this time onto Ashe, and now the kite from Ashe is real. Prodigial Dank going down, however, the shutdown onto Jhin, and vice versa, back onto Ashe. The Lulu is going to be enough to secure that kill, and now a 4-for-1 in blue team's favor. Surely more people died than that, right? And they just had respawns? Yeah, because they found Forbes the Beast. No, they didn't. So that was actually just a 4v1, or 4-for-1, I think. Poppy's trying to find damage onto Gnar, but it's really difficult to kill Gnar right now, and she can't really push the wave against that ZZ-Rot portal. So really, the best way to counter out a split pushing Poppy is just to get a ZZ-Rot portal and just place it behind your tower or somewhere in a bush that she can't clear it. It's going to take her a long time to clear it, especially if you're right next to her, dealing damage the whole time, and she has to divert auto attacks to your ZZ-Rot instead of you, so it's really easy to defend it. You basically just get to play safe the whole time, and everyone has a good day. You know, what can I say? It's Sunday, lazy Sunday. We had a 12 o'clock start to the tournaments. I started the stream at 4 p.m., 3:55 really, Central Time. And it's just been going good it's been going well from there, I must say. We're finding the scuttle. Ashe is going to be able to pick that up. So we've now been live for 48 minutes. Which means about 15 minutes of music beforehand, but that's okay. A little bit of champion select in there, so 10 minutes of music. I think that's okay. So the Ashe Arrow not going to find its mark on the Poppy. Poppy with the ult here. It's going to find a goal, however, but we're not playing soccer. A nice dodge by Poppy. Going to not be able to dodge the Braum Q. It doesn't really matter. Steadfast Presence giving her quite a bit of extra movement speed. Nidalee healing herself even before she really takes that much damage, and then taking the tower shot. It's not going to matter too much, though. Picks up the Gromp, gets a little bit of health back. The ZZ-Rot portal going down into the brush just by the tower. Always want to place those into brushes whenever you can, as it's very difficult for the other team to go kill them before you can defend it. Really, you're just trying to keep up the split push. So the ZZ-Rots finding their way into the tower, that animation taking them down. And this might just be all that they need. They're going to have to clear out the ZZ-Rot minions before they keep finding that tower. Oh, they're finding minions now, so they've got a little bit more of a delay until they wave clear that. Lulu's Glitterlant's going to be doing a little bit of work on the melee minions. And the knock-up from Janna's going to find 3. Poppy's finding this is her way in. She finds a dash onto Prodigial Dank, puts down the Steadfast Presence to stop her from doing, you know, any of those dashes out that Ashe has a lot of in her kit. We find 2 kills on the red team, though. And now Sepheriam going incredibly low, so incredibly low that her health is now at 0. Lulu going to be able to finalize that kill onto... No, it was Ashe that finds the kill onto Elise there at the end. It just looked like it was going to be Janna. Ashe, I'm sorry. So, that probably just cracked the game wide open for blue team. Ashe throwing out an arrow that's going to miss yet again, finds the edge of the map. She's been hitting the edge of the map very consistently, and she has been finding some real champions from time to time. She's been playing very well. She's at 10-2-9 right now, so you can't say anything bad about this Ashe play. Jhin finding the crit. He's going to have to flash back, though. Curtain Call is going to come down, trying to find a pick on Nidalee, but that's just going to be a quick hop, skip, and a jump away from the edge. Janna going down to a Nidalee spear. Poppy's ult whiffing at the very end there. Despite Poppy playing his best, the best league that she probably could have there, she was unable to find the victory. So blue team gets the victory. This was the finals of the tournament, which we just witnessed. These are all 4-man tournaments, which means there are 2 rounds. There is a initial round, otherwise known as the semifinals immediately, even though it's round 1. So semifinals or round 1, whatever you want to call it, and then a finals or a round 2 immediately after the semifinals conclusion. There's about a 3-minute delay in between those. So I'm going to go looking for another tournament code. I'll put the damage graph up this time so you guys can actually look at it, get a little bit of these stats. There we go. And I'm going to go to a quick non-monetized commercial break, as I've come to calling them, which means I play music, mute my mic, and then go get something to drink. So I'll see you guys in just a little bit.